My name is Tyler Tripp. I'm the Community Engagement Manager here at the Campus Kitchens Project, and my primary role, or one of the main things I do, is social media. So today we're going to be talking about social media and best practices for your campus kitchens. And hopefully the screen share will start working, but if not, just follow along with the PowerPoint that I sent you, and feel free to type any questions in the chat box or just go ahead and ask me mid-presentation. I don't mind, and I'm happy to answer them. So moving on to the next slide. So stay in the conversation. So where to find CKP on social media? We're primarily on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Those are the main accounts that we use. So make sure to follow us for latest updates, and then down here below, you'll see the hashtags that we often use on all accounts, and when we post a lot of things, just to stay in the wider conversation. And we'll get into hashtags in a little bit, but these are just good references for you guys so you know where to follow us. And then the next slide, so find other campus kitchens. This is, as I just realized, not the most updated list, but it's all the campus kitchens social media sites. So we have Facebook URLs and Twitter accounts, and I will update this and also add Instagram accounts, and I'll post it on the pantry, or I can email it out to you guys to make sure that everyone has access and can follow each other. So then the next slide, so on to a little bit of branding, just some review. What's your campus kitchen actually called? This is really important when posting to social media, because you just want to make sure that you're calling yourself the right name. And so if you hit the next arrow, you'll see that the last one, the campus kitchen at Elon University with a lowercase t, is the correct name. So you still are called the campus kitchen, but it's just a lowercase t. And then the next slide, what about the national network? And as you'll see, it's the third option. So it's also the Campus Kitchens Project with a capital T. And then the next slide is where do I find the information that we just went over, and it's all on the pantry, and you can click on that link if you want to now or later, but it's under the Communications tab, and you'll again see all the links to all the Campus Kitchens Facebooks and Twitter accounts. And then I'll make sure to post the slide that I just had also with the Instagrams, and then you will also have branding guidelines. So then the next slide, social media as your primary online presence. So since most campus kitchens don't have websites, your social media accounts are your primary and maybe your only online presence. And so it's really important to have the correct contact and location information so people and volunteers and people in your network know where to find you. It's the place where you post all your updated information about your campus kitchens activities, what's going on, any program updates, and it's also a great place to post volunteer needs and opportunities. If anyone uses Volunteer Hub, you can share the link to your Volunteer Hub landing page directly on your social media account, like on your Facebook. And you can help recruit or try and recruit volunteers via social media and sharing that link. And you can also post leadership team applications. And lastly, it's a great place to post photos, which we'll also get into in a little bit. But so just remember, social media is your primary online presence and where basically people who are unfamiliar with your campus kitchen can learn all about you. So the next slide, where do I find content to post? I know it can be tricky coming up with things to post or maybe being unsure about what you want to post. And actually it looks like the audience view, sorry to interrupt, the audience view just caught up. So if you guys want to, you can switch out from the PowerPoint and hopefully follow along on GoToMeeting, or you can just keep it open, either one. But we're on where do I find content to post. So the best content to post is pictures and stories from your own shifts. So you let people know what's going on in your kitchen, what your campus kitchen's doing, maybe what food you recovered, what meals you're making, and where they're going to. And pictures are the best way to do this on all accounts. And also you can follow other fellow campus kitchens and see what other people are posting. Maybe they're posting great articles or other pictures. And then of course you can follow the CKP's, the national social media sites. So our Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram, our website, and our Pinterest. Our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram I update every day. Instagram's almost every day I try. And then the website is probably updated maybe once a week. And we also share that content on Facebook and Twitter. And then make sure to follow partners, sponsors, donors, and your school just to stay up with the latest news and see if there's anything relevant for your Campus Kitchens audience. And lastly, you can search related terms like food waste, hunger, food recovery, gleaning, farmers markets, anything you think of. You can search for them just in Google News and Facebook via hashtags and see kind of what's being talked about and if it's relevant for your campus kitchen to post. So the next slide, find your campus kitchen's voice. So I did this presentation at boot camp, which we had a couple weeks ago, and I got some questions about like how does posting to your campus kitchen differ from maybe like your personal account? And it's similar in that you want to be sharing content with your social network. Like people want to see what's going on. They want to see kind of like what's going on in your campus kitchen's life. But you should also make sure that you post what's important to your campus kitchen. So if your campus kitchen's really involved in gleaning or maybe always or regularly delivers meals to a certain organization, then you should be posting content about that and pictures about that. So that's kind of like the behind the scenes footage and finished products. So don't be afraid to take pictures of meals that you just made or document the progress of a garden and how it's doing over the summer, how it's growing. And all these different ways help all your followers feel connected and part of your social network. And then you can also share your campus kitchen's history, maybe how long ago you opened, what kind of like your progress has been over time, that kind of stuff. And then definitely share successes. So people love hearing like all the great stuff that you do. It's exciting for volunteers, for people just keeping up with your campus kitchens, for your universities. They love hearing those feel-good stories and knowing what's going on. And along that same note, if articles are ever written about your campus kitchen, you can definitely share them on your social media platforms, or you can send them to me, and I can also share them too, because I love hearing about that stuff if I haven't seen it on my own. And then before and after. So maybe if you initiated a program at your campus kitchen, you can document, the growth of it, how it started, and where you are afterwards. Okay, so on to Facebook. So the most popular, so the next slide, Facebook, the most popular content on Facebook is pictures. If you're posting maybe a short caption, I would always include a picture with it, especially documenting what you guys are doing in your campus kitchen. So kind of like longer posts tend to not be as popular, and by that I mean they don't get that many likes or people don't share them or comment or really want to engage with them. You can also definitely post articles. It kind of just depends on your audience, which I know sounds a little wishy-washy, but Facebook pictures mostly, like they do the best, but articles can also be really popular. And so on Facebook, make sure you diversify your content. So share a variety of pictures. So maybe one picture is a cooking shift, and one's in a garden, and one's a meal delivery, and maybe one's of your volunteers, or like all your different volunteers. And then same with if you decide to share articles, make sure you're sharing different kinds of articles about different subjects in the hunger relief and food waste conversation. And then always make sure to tag people in your posts, because that's going to greatly increase the reach. So if you're tagging other organizations, or if you ask your volunteers, say, hey, can we tag you in this photo? And they say, yeah, so then all their friends are going to see the picture. works well for the national account. And if you need more help on this or how to analyze what time of day to post, definitely just let me know and I can help you figure that out. And then we only post once a day. Facebook's a little different than other social media accounts like that. Usually just one post a day is popular and does well because people aren't necessarily checking it for like live updates like they would be for Twitter. And Facebook also has a really great scheduling feature. So you can schedule posts or pictures to, go up in 24 hours or sometime next week. So even if you can't be at your computer to post all these things, you can schedule them for the week. And then definitely make sure to thank your volunteers and donors and partners and anyone you've worked with on Facebook. Again, by tagging them, it's a great platform to kind of show your appreciation and stay and grow your network and stay involved. So the next slide, these are just some examples of really great Facebook posts. The first one's from East Carolina University. You'll see there's a hashtag. They've tagged some volunteers and they tagged their location. And it's also just a really fun and great picture. And the next one's at Baylor. Again, just kind of like fun pictures, shows their audience what the Campus Kitchen's up to, uses hashtags. Next one's at Gettysburg. Again, great pictures, shows kind of like these 4 pictures tells the story of them working in the kitchen and then delivering the meals. And although they didn't tag anyone, that's okay. Like you don't have to tag someone in every single post, just in most tends to be better. And then now on to Twitter. So Twitter is a little different than Facebook. You always want to make sure you're using a hashtag because when you do that, it adds your tweet to a list of all other users using that hashtag. So people can search a variety of users through that one hashtag. And if you guys follow us on Twitter, you'll see that we almost always include hashtag hunger fighters or hashtag food waste or hashtag waste less. So it's just a good way to make sure we're staying relevant in the conversation and people can search for things that we've tweeted. And always try, and if it's applicable, to include other Twitter handles. So this is another great time to tag funders. So for an example, Gonzaga University shared a picture of all the food that Safeway donated, and we then shared that photo and tagged Safeway, and they retweeted us, which was awesome because they have like 50,000 followers. And then NPR also retweeted us once because we tagged them and they have like 70,000 followers. So that's just a really great way to make sure people are seeing your content. And maybe they'll retweet you, maybe they won't. Like we've definitely tagged other big funders and they haven't, but then sometimes they do and it's really exciting when they do that. And then also don't be afraid to tag us because I monitor all your guys' social media accounts and I'll see if you tag us, and then I'm much more likely to post it or share it with the CKP, the national network. And if you can, try and include a link, whether if it's just to your Volunteer Hub page or maybe even your Facebook page, if that's the main way that people can see information and kind of stay up to date, because it just keeps people like connected into the community and lets them learn more about you and kind of see more what you do. And it's okay to abbreviate words, but make sure it's readable. So you don't want to abbreviate so much that you can't read the tweets, but obviously tweets have a character limit, so sometimes you have to abbreviate. And you can also post pictures to Twitter. So although it's not as popular as Facebook and Instagram, we still post pictures to Twitter and they can still be retweeted and favorited and they can still do really well. So if you have a great picture, feel free to share it on all accounts. And just the last reminder is try and include at least a hashtag in a Twitter handle and a link if it's applicable. So the next slide is just some common Twitter terms, which this might be, some of you might already know this. So the @ symbols for mentioning different Twitter handles. RT means retweet. MT means modified tweet, which is when you do like a slight adjustment to a tweet, but basically it's the same as what the original account posted. And then obviously the hashtag symbol. And in case you missed it, ICYMI is a good one that we always use. It's kind of just maybe you found an article from 6 months ago and you still really want to post it and you're worried it might not be relevant. That's just a good kind of term to put in front of it and let people know, like, oh, this is old, but it's still really relevant in case you missed it. And then Follow Friday is just a good way to give some shout outs to supporters, other campus kitchens. That's something that I've been trying to do every Friday and kind of include campus kitchens that are really active on Twitter and make sure people know to follow them. So the next slide. So just, again, some examples from Twitter. This is just a good one, has hashtags. It's a great picture, and you can see it was retweeted and have favorites. And then the next one from Marquette. Again, they had a link to their Volunteer Hub page, just kind of a great collage of volunteers at work with a hashtag. And the last one is Virginia Tech, and I really love this one because it shows kind of the two campus kitchens, Virginia Tech and Troy, like interacting with each other, which is exciting from my standpoint, and just kind of shows like how well connected the community is. Okay, so on to the next slide, which is Instagram. So Instagram, I know I took a little poll at boot camp, and I know it's very popular among you guys. I really love Instagram too. So it's kind of going to be pretty similar to Facebook. You want to have diverse content, so share a variety of photos, again, like volunteers working in the kitchen, maybe a picture of the staff, gleaning, meal prep, maybe at the farmer's market, anything like that. And the same kind of rules apply. You want to tag accounts, and you can also use hashtags on Instagram, and they work the exact same way as they do on Facebook and Twitter. And they're really popular on Instagram, so don't be afraid to not use them. And then keep your profile public. So that's a great way to get more followers. And I know if you have a personal account, you might not want to do that, but with Campus Kitchen, since it's an organization, it's a great way to get more followers and stay connected to other accounts. So on Instagram, we try and post once a day, maybe like 5 times or 4 times a week. And I haven't really figured out the best time of day to post on Instagram, because I found that really any time of day is popular because people are on Instagram a lot and checking. And so an Instagram post, again, the image is obviously the main point on Instagram, and you can include a caption for it, but it's kind of hard to include links on Instagram. So like on CKP's national Instagram account, we have a link to our website and our profile. So I would recommend that you guys link to your Facebook page or maybe your Volunteer Hub landing page and your profile to let kind of people figure out more, find out more about you. So on to the next one, which are Instagram examples. So this is UMass Boston, and this is a great kind of like post-cooking shift of a really delicious meal, and they're using hashtags and good picture. And then the next one is from Emory, and it's a shout out for a food donation. They have hashtags and they tag the organization. And then the next example is Wake Forest, and this is just kind of a great like recruitment shot. It's a really great photo. Shows them being active on campus. And next slide is build your own terms, again, like just in Google or through hashtags. Don't be afraid to retweet. You can definitely share a lot more content on Twitter than you can on Facebook. And tell your volunteers about your social media pages. So that might not seem like a first priority when you're running a shift in the kitchen, but it's a great way for them to know what's going on. And so if you can't directly tell them about your social media pages, make sure that you include maybe the URLs or your handle names on any materials you print or in signatures for your Campus Kitchen email addresses. And just make sure to just tell people about your social media accounts, because that's where you're posting your latest information and the most recent updates. So the next slide is kind of other social media ideas. So these are other social media platforms that CKP National isn't on, like Vine and Snapchat. And we're on Pinterest, we just don't use it as regularly. But if you have other ideas for other social media accounts, don't be afraid to use them, and definitely let me know, because I would love to hear what you guys do on other social media accounts and how you use them. And so the last slide is just a reminder that Campus Kitchens is a resource for anyone looking to learn more about food waste, food recovery, hunger relief, photos. Usually I will post them to Instagram and to Facebook. And again, like I'll just have a longer, kind of more detailed caption on Facebook than I will on Instagram.
Okay, so you don't use like the option where you can link like the Facebook with the Instagram?
Yeah, I don't do that because I'm also doing a lot of that from my phone, and since I'm managing a page, sometimes Facebook gets a little confused between my personal account and the Facebook page. So I just do everything individually, which I know can be more of a time commitment, but it's just easier that way for me. But if you find that it's easier to post, then you can definitely try it out and see what works for you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Any other questions? All right, well, thanks so much for listening, guys, and sorry about the technical difficulties we had. I hope you could follow along in the presentation, and I'll make sure to post everything onto the pantry like I said I would, so I can email that out to you guys when it's up. And yeah, thank you so much for joining, and I hope you found this helpful, and feel free to email me if you have any more questions. So thank you.